Hey, welcome to Film Fanatics, and this is our first ever Minisode of the show. No real reviews this week, but it is our Oscar review show and 2013 reflection program. And with us is frequent listener of the program and big-time supporter, Tim. Say hi, Tim.
Hi, my name's Tim.
I'm Dan, of course.
My name is Justin.
And I'm Joe.
When we did the 2013 show at the end of the year, we all revealed our top 20s and bottom 10s for 2013, but there was still some work to be done on some indie movies and smaller releases that had not been seen by us that year. So they have been possibly added to the list, and Tim's going to bring us his list for the very first time. And Tim saw more movies in theaters last year than any of us. What was the final count on that?
178. So that averages out to be one movie for every other day.
Wow. That's pretty
Somebody
good.
got busy.
Yeah, that's
impressive.
pretty good. I topped out at 163, so I was trying, but could not make it happen. First up, we're going to reveal our bottom 10s, and then we're going to talk to Tim for the three of us mainstays on the show. We've already sort of given our bottom 10, so I'll go ahead and start. My number 10 was The Counselor. Number 9, Walking with Dinosaurs. Number 8, The Fifth Estate. Number 7, The Host. Number 6, Only God Forgives. Number 5, Movie 43. Number 4, To the Wonder. Number 3, A Glimpse Inside the Mind of Charles Swan III. Number 2, Spring Breakers. And my least favorite of last year was Getaway. Justin, what was your bottom 10?
Okay, as before, number 10 is Sharknado. Number 9, The Factory. Number 8 was Jack the Giant Slayer. Number 7 was Baggage Claim. Number 6 was A Good Day to Die Hard. Number 5 was The Host. Number 4 was Scary Movie 5. Number 3 was Getaway. Number 2 was Movie 43. And the worst of 2013 went to Temptation, Confessions of a Marriage Counselor.
Tyler Perry's Temptation.
Lest I forget, yes.
Yeah. All right, Joe, what was your bottom 10?
Well, I'll try not to, go on too much about this, but I did actually do some reflection, and I think my list has been adjusted a bit. If you guys feel you want to ask any quick questions about it, that's fine.
Sure.
If anything strikes you. My number 10 is Machete Kills. My number 9 is Erased. My number 8 is Homefront. My number 7 is Percy Jackson. My number 6 is Freebirds. My number 5 is The Host. My number 4 is Baggage Claim.
Oh.
My number 3 is Getaway. My number 2 is Movie 43. And upon some reflection, my number 1 worst movie of 2013 is Walking with Dinosaurs.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, you did not like that one.
No, I did not.
Good choice.
A couple new additions in there. I didn't remember Erased, but I didn't think it was that bad.
I saw it recently. I thought it was pretty forgettable.
Was Aaron Eckhart in that?
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Okay, that's one I did not see. So
Yeah, I found that on Netflix a couple months ago, and I just thought it was a really sloppy action thriller movie. It was, totally forgettable.
I mean, it wasn't good. I just didn't think it was, worst bad.
I thought it was pretty bad.
And Homefront, I believe, was not on your bottom 10 before, but
No.
what a great choice. Terrible movie.
I don't know. I think I was a little easy on it when I reviewed it on the show, and I was just thinking about how chaotically dumb that was. I mean, I have all my grades here. It's not... There are a couple, D pluses at the top, and I believe Homefront is one of the D pluses.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's still, not terrible for me, but it's pretty bad for me.
Now, if memory serves, Tim, you liked Homefront.
I didn't think it was that bad. I actually thought it was better than Parker. I would give it a D plus, where Parker was a D.
Oh, okay.
All right, well, let's hear your bottom 10, Tim.
Okay.
I'm
so
intrigued.
Number 10, starting off with The Counselor. The movie
wow.
is 90% filled with these long conversations between characters, and you still don't know what's actually happening in the movie. With that much dialogue, you should be able to know what's going on. I mean, a few good performances can't save this movie. Just having Cameron Diaz have sex with a car is ridiculous, and...
It was maybe the worst scene of the year for me from any movie. It was just so pointless.
It's the silliest scene.
Yeah.
I did find the conversations intriguing. I admit the story, it is hard to follow, if not borderline incomprehensible, but I'm still holding out on some curiosity that there may be an extended cut that offers a bit more to that.
I feel like you have to grade on the cut that you saw, though.
I agree, but I mean, I still think that there was a couple moments where it might have had potential to be a whole lot better.
And I thought it was okay, actually. I can understand why people might hate it, but I thought a lot of it was actually kind of interesting. I wish I knew a little more what was going on, but I don't know.
It was my number 10 worst as well, so I think it's a great choice.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was intriguing to a point, but that intrigue doesn't lead to anything.
Yeah.
So altogether, it's disappointing as a movie. Number 9, Machete Kills. The movie is supposed to be a bad movie, but still it doesn't do it in an enjoyable way. I mean, Justin, you had Sharknado on your bottom list, but I thought that was a bad movie in an enjoyable way, and I laughed and chuckled, and I don't know if they were purposely making a bad movie when they made Sharknado, like they did with Machete Kills, but they did a better job at making a bad movie. Also, the fact that it's a whole setup for a third movie. I do not like that.
Yeah, that really bothered me too.
And the fact that they start the second movie with a trailer for the third movie basically like ruins the whole second movie, because you know where it's going. You know there's not going to be a payoff. You know it. Yeah. Spoiler alert: going to space. Number 8, Walking with Dinosaurs. It has good animation, but it's ruined by the fact for a lack of excitement story. Also, the voice acting not matching up with Mouse. I was not aware of the fact that dinosaurs could talk through telepathy. Like,
maybe we don't know.
That was my whole thought process. Like, they can hear each other's thoughts. Like, that's cool. And then also, you guys mentioned on the show the bookends of having Carl Urban.
Oh, so useless.
Pointless. I mean, I like Carl Urban, and he did a decent job with what he was given, but I have no idea why they paid him money to do that.
Quick paycheck.
Number 7, Tyler Perry's Temptation, Confessions of a Marriage Counselor. There isn't a single character that you can get behind in the whole movie. Who are you supposed to root for? The unappreciative husband, the cheating wife, or the sleazy ladies' man? Like, none of them have redeeming qualities at all.
And certainly not Kim Kardashian. You don't root for her.
The plastic acting of Kim Kardashian does not add anything, and actually is like the icing of cake of a cake that is awful.
I could not put it better, sir.
That's pretty good, actually.
Number 6, Fifth Estate.
Whoa.
Fifth Element. I'm sorry.
Worst movie ever.
I love Fifth Element.
I love that movie, man. Come on.
Fifth Estate. Another awful character. Like, I don't understand why Hollywood wants us to get behind awful characters. Like, especially when they don't have any change of character. He has, I forget the character's name.
Julian Assange?
Yeah, Julian Assange.
He doesn't change. He's the same prick the whole movie.
Yeah, he really is.
Actually, Tim, I want to ask you a question, because I don't think that either of them brought it up on the podcast. Like, what about him was so unlikable?
He was just a jerk.
Everything.
To everybody.
Yeah.
He like thought himself so highly that he was this great genius, and he needed to expose the truths of the world, which I can get behind, but to the point where he's doing it in a way that's going to cost people's lives.
Okay.
Like, he just wants to be the focus of everything, and to call it a thriller. I did air quotes there.
I definitely was not thrilled.
Number 5, another quote-unquote thriller, Paranoia. Unoriginal, bad acting, and boring.
Wow.
And unrememberable, because I couldn't even think of anything to really critique it on. Number 4, Scary Movie 5. I personally hate spoof movies, especially unfunny spoof movies. Scary Movie franchise does it the worst. They try to spoof as many movies as possible to the point where it doesn't make sense and it's not cohesive. Like,
Weird.
the first Scary Movie, I thought was funny and did it well, because they focused just on Scream. It's a little ironic that they spoof a spoof movie, but
Part of the reason I had issues with it.
yeah. But they did it in at least somewhat enjoyable way, where now you can't even follow them. Number 3, Getaway.
Awful.
Bad acting, illogical motives behind the villains and other characters. Quick editing from a million different cameras and a million different camera views is nauseating.
I believe that was on all of our lists, right?
Yeah. Number 2 is Justin Bieber's Believe. Boring documentary aspects. Concert footage doesn't really add anything special. I'm not a fan of Justin Bieber's music, so that might be a little bit biased. But I'm also not a fan of One Direction. And One Direction was able to make a concert documentary that was somewhat enjoyable through the concert footage that they use with special effects and with somewhat entertaining documentary aspects. Also, it felt like a public service announcement to try to save face for Justin Bieber, because he had a bad couple of years.
And then since the movie came out, he's had even worse couple of months.
And, I mean, obviously fans I don't feel like connected to it either because the first one, I don't know, what was that one called?
Never Say Never.
That one did huge at the box office,
But,
and this one did not, so...
Yeah, I'm the only one of the group here, that other than you, Tim, that has seen the Believe movie. Not good.
No. Number 1, worst movie of the year, Spring Breakers. The repeated dialogue segments and the sound effects is painstaking. Franco's performance is good, but it comes too late in a movie that takes forever to get going. They just sit around in their dorm for 20 minutes before even going on spring break, and it's boring. Also, the ending is also so unrealistic and so unsatisfying. It makes you wish that you walked out when you wanted to walk out 40 minutes earlier.
When Selena Gomez leaves.
Yeah.
you want to leave with her.
It was so bad.
All right, well, now we're going to do the best of 2013, and the three of us here, me, Justin, and Joe, are going to do our top 20s. But before we get to that, we're going to hear the first half of Tim's list, which is, of course, 20 through 11 for the best of 2013.
Okay, so when I was going through my list of 178 movies, I basically highlighted ones that I thought really stood out, that I really enjoyed, and I got 19 of them. And then trying to find that 20 spot, there was a lot of contenders for it, but I went with one that really surprised me. Number 20 was About Time. I thought going in that was going to be a cliched romantic comedy with a time travel twist, but it wound up being a lot more. The relationship between father and son was equally as important to the movie and also tugged at the emotional heartstrings. I teared up a little bit, so also the acting was good all around. So that got number 20.
Good choice.
That's good.
Number 19 was The Conjuring. One of the best horror movies to come out in years. Although they did spoil what I thought could have been the best scare with the previews, the clapping on the, basement steps. But I did think it did succeed in having this really intense suspense-filled atmosphere throughout the whole movie. Acting, once again, was great. Vera Farmiga and the rest of the cast. Also, director James Wan really has his fingers on the pulse of the horror genre right now. And it actually surprises me a little bit that he says he's leaving the horror genre.
I know, it's sad.
Yeah.
Because he's very good at it.
Number 18, Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Ben Stiller really surprised me as a director. I've been a fan of his past directorial efforts, but mostly they've been strictly comedies, and this movie delivers on more than levels. The scope and feel of the movie makes the viewer want to go out and travel the world. I did feel that the romantic storyline wasn't fully fleshed out and kind of left you a little bit at the end with a cliffhanger of their romantic relationship, which why it was a little bit lower on my list. Number 17, Captain Phillips, a stand-up performance by newcomer Barkhad Abdi, maybe?
Abdi, I think.
Abdi?
Barkhad Abdi. Yeah.
Okay. He saved the movie from dragging too much, and I'm really excited to see what he does next. To be his first performance is really
it was
remarkable.
incredible.
And also, Tom Hanks in the last 5 minutes of the movie really drove the movie home and gives you a lasting feeling. Granted, this shaky cam a little bit disorientating on the boat plus shaky cam doesn't really do. I hear that people did get seasick from the movie.
I could see it.
It certainly adds to the atmosphere.
Yeah, but I did think it was altogether a good movie. I could see why the Academy really loved it. 16, The Way, Way Back, which I know Justin isn't a huge fan of.
I still give it a B.
Yeah.
I don't knock it.
But I thought it was a great coming-of-age story of an awkward teen coming out of his shell. Sam Rockwell is hilarious and sometimes steals the show, but I feel the rest of the cast also delivers on performances. 15, Nebraska. Alexander Payne delivers again with another great movie. Bruce Dern is brilliant as Woody Grant. He fully deserves his Oscar nomination. Although it does drag in the middle a little bit when they get to his hometown, but it's still outstanding, worth a watch. If anybody has not seen it, go see it. Number 14, American Hustle. I know Dan really liked that. You guys
loved it.
Still enjoyed it.
Weren't that keen on it.
Good movie.
It's an all-star cast. Each one delivers impressive performance. I don't know how David O. Russell does it, but he somehow gets these amazing performances from his actors each and every time. It's the second year in a row they directed a cast to nominations in each of the 4 acting categories, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's no easy feat.
No. If only the story had a little bit more meat to it, it could have been a whole lot better of a movie, I felt. Number 13, Fruitvale Station. Emotional true story that should have received more Oscar buzz than it did. Michael B. Jordan gives a performance and puts him on the list of rising stars to keep an eye on. Number 12, Saving Mr. Banks. Great performance from Hanks and Thompson that could have gotten them nominations in other years, but it's just a strong year for acting. This movie probably could have been higher on my list if I had seen Mary Poppins somewhat recently. I haven't seen it in years, so like that nostalgia factor wasn't there, but still enjoyable film. Number 11, Rush. There's something to marvel about when you're constantly changing of which character you want to win the race. Like, Ron Howard really fleshed out the characters. You saw the good and the bad of both James Hunt and Niki Lauda. At one moment, you wanted James Hunt to win, and then the next Lauda, and I don't know, I felt like it was on the edge of your seat racing scenes as well. I was just fully invested in that movie, and that's why it's so high on my list.
Nice. Good first half. And we'll hear the top 10 from Tim here momentarily. But first, myself, Justin, and Joe are going to revisit our own top 20s from the year-end show a couple of months ago. We've each seen upwards of 30 new films since that broadcast, and Joe was sort of playing catch-up on some of the earlier films of the year, and Justin and I watched a lot of the direct-to-DVD movies or very small indies. And, of course, we all saw some of the major Oscar players like Nebraska and Llewyn Davis. So I'll go ahead and do mine first. I only have 3 new entries on my top 20. The Spectacular Now, Captain Phillips, and 20 Feet from Stardom are the ones that have dropped off. And a few of these have changed a spot or two on the list just from not only reflection, but some of them I've seen now a second or in some cases a third time, and so that colors it a little bit as well. My number 20 is Lee Daniels' The Butler. Number 19 is Nebraska. That's a new entry. We reviewed this on the show about a month ago, and a lot of great stuff in that. Love Alexander Payne, as we just talked about on last week's show with Sideways. Number 18, Stories We Tell. Number 17, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Number 16, No. Number 15, The Conjuring. 14 was Gravity. 13, Prisoners. 12 was Frozen. Number 11 is another new one, and that's Inside Llewyn Davis. Great Coen Brothers movie, a fantastic breakout performance from Oscar Isaac, and just great music, good story, everything works with that. Number 10, Oz the Great and Powerful. Number 9, Fruitvale Station. Number 8, Monsters University. Number 7, Dallas Buyers Club. American Hustle is 6. 12 Years a Slave is number 5. Short Term 12, number 4. We just reviewed that one a couple of weeks ago on the show. And number 3, another new entry, and that is August, Osage County. I absolutely loved this movie when we originally reviewed it on the show. I gave it an A. I got to see it a second time and ended up bumping that to an A+. It's just one of the few movies, and I brought this up when we reviewed it, that there's so many different characters, there's so much going on, yet every single character, you know their identity within maybe the first minute or two of their screen time, and that is an impressive feat. Number 2, which actually used to be my number 1 for the year, and that is Saving Mr. Banks. Tim hit on something when he did his review of it just a moment ago, that if you have never seen Mary Poppins or haven't seen Mary Poppins in a long time, I think it definitely loses some of its luster. Whereas for me, huge Mary Poppins fan, the movie really hit home for me, but I can easily see how maybe if you didn't know anything about that movie going into this one, it might lose a little bit. So I did drop it down for that. Still an A+ movie for me. And my number 1 of 2013 is Mud. Justin?
Well, for my list, I made 4 new introductions, so sadly I had to say goodbye to Man of Steel, Rush, Frozen, and Behind the Candelabra, all 4 of which were exceptional movies, but sadly did not make the cut for the new top 20. Number 20 is a new addition, that is The Act of Killing. There are a few times I can safely say that a documentary is absolutely terrifying. This will be the one to say it for. It's really just a documentary that needs to be seen. The subjects of interest are so disturbing. It's just a documentary that absolutely needs to be seen. I truly, truly, truly hope it wins for Best Documentary. Number 19 is Prisoners. Number 18, Saving Mr. Banks. Number 17 is Mud. Number 16 is Side Effects. Number 15 is What Maisie Knew. My number 14 is All Is Lost. Number 13 is No. Fruitvale Station for my number 12. Gravity is number 11. Number 10 is How to Survive a Plague. And my number 9 is also a new one. And it's one that Dan mentioned. That is August Osage County. I thought it's just a great use of star power fused with really great writing. It's really funny, and it always is interesting to see what particularly strange direction the story may be heading next. Number 8 is Philomena, and number 7 would be another new addition, that is Her. I've mentioned on the show that I think Spike Jonze never offers the same experience twice and is always original, and this is really his crowning achievement. I thought it was interesting and engaging. It's just really, really funny, really, really emotional, and it's really largely to the benefit of performances from Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson. My number 6 is Dallas Buyers Club. My number 5, much to Dan's dismay, is the documentary Side by Side. Number 4 is 12 Years a Slave. Number 3, Short Term 12. Number 2, Before Midnight.
Wow, you have a new number 1 as well.
I do have a new number 1. My new number 1 is Inside Llewyn Davis.
Great choice.
It is unquestionably one of the most original and surprisingly middle-brow films to be released in recent years. I thought the songs were catchy, the performances are memorable, particularly from Oscar Isaac, who we sadly had to revisit him with Sucker Punch not too long ago. Such a better performance, really shows his talent. Honestly, I got a new respect for Justin Timberlake from this, and I honestly just found this film to be truly the full package.
Very cool. All right, Joe, let's hear from you.
All right, well, upon previous reflection, I realized that I guess I didn't understand the original list, and I kind of based my list on the personal feelings I had on the films rather than the overall grade. So there's going to be some reorganization here. Though the top 10 is mostly the same movies.
Okay.
In the 20 to 11 slot, there was a lot of shuffling, so you might see some surprises there. Though number 20 is still Ender's Game.
Oh, man.
Number 19 is Trance. Number 18 is Gravity. Number 17 is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Number 16 is Her. I thought that was a great movie. Lots of great writing there. I thought it was really original, unique. Great performance from Joaquin Phoenix. I believe it was Scarlett Johansson. Great voice acting. Think she should have gotten some more recognition for that. Number 15 will make Tim happy because it is a significant drop because I saw this movie again recently and I realized I didn't like it as much as I did when I first saw it. It's Prisoners. Was originally my number 2. I think I was a little...
Yeah, that was quite high.
I was a little excited about that movie. I actually did watch it again, I think a couple weeks ago, and I did see some problems with it. Doesn't hold up quite as well in repeat viewings. Still really like it, though, but it was significantly high. Number 14 is Nebraska. Once again, as you guys said, Alexander Payne, great director. Bruce Dern, great performer. We should see more of him. He really stands out here. I like the style of the filming. I liked the shots, the editing. I like the story.
And the black and white.
The black and white. I just loved everything about this. And it's kind of funny. I think everybody here had pacing issues with it. I really didn't have any pacing issues. I really was invested from beginning to end. I really liked it. I just got absorbed into the atmosphere. Number 13 is Frozen. Number 12 is a new addition, and that's Fruitvale Station. I missed this one earlier. It's just a great film, a lot of great performances, and my only issue with it was too short. I wish they had expanded a little bit more on those story elements, but very good movie, deserves a lot of the credit. And I agree that Michael B. Jordan should have gotten some kind of Oscar recognition. I mean, he's going to be completely missed.
It was just...
Yeah, in another year he definitely would have.
Even so, I still think he really would deserve some praise, you know. It was just a great performance from him. I think he really held that up himself. But the film itself was very good, very solid. Number 11 is Saving Mr. Banks. Great movie. I love Mary Poppins, and I think that it did a good job selling to that audience. Yes, I think that there is a slight disadvantage in regards to people that may not have seen Mary Poppins, but I still thought it was an excellent movie.
And I think what's interesting about that is on all 4 of our lists. You and I, Joe, have seen it a lot more frequently. You know, Tim hasn't seen it in a while. Justin just saw it for the first time last year. But... still, it all had something, you know.
There was something going on there beyond the nostalgia. I think it was still what's put together. Number 10, it made my top 10 at Short Term 12. I thought this was an excellent character study. It focused on a lot of incredibly poignant issues. Very well made movie. I'm glad I finally got to see it. Number 9 is Mud. Number 8 is No. Number 7 was originally Elysium. I like this movie a lot, but I think it was a bit too high. And I'm replacing that with Star Trek Into Darkness because that's still going to be in my top 10. Number 6 is Monsters University. Just a great, great kids movie. Number 5, I believe in the same place, is Man of Steel. Number 4 is 12 Years a Slave. Number 3 is August Osage County. I loved a lot of the performances in this movie. Loved the story. I think it's an excellent movie, and I really need to watch it again because I just really enjoyed everything about it. It held together really well for me. Number 2 is Dallas Buyers Club, which was originally my number 1.
We all have different number 1s. This is interesting.
Yeah, Dallas Buyers Club was a really, really good movie. Loved it, and I still think that it's really close for that number 1 spot, but didn't quite make it. And my number 1 of 2013 is also Inside Llewyn Davis.
Nice.
I just loved the history around this film. I loved the character pieces. I loved the acting. I loved everything about it. It was amazing sound, amazing atmosphere. I was invested in the story. I really could have gotten a lot more from this movie, but even so, I was really entertained. I enjoyed it. I thought it was excellently made.
Very cool. All right, well, Tim, let's hear your top 10.
Okay, number 10, August Osage County. Meryl Streep delivers, as always, but also the rest of the cast also deliver. And they portray this convincing, dysfunctional family. I saw an interview with Meryl Streep where she said that she convinced the rest of the cast to live with in like townhouses together while filming. And I think everybody but Cumberbatch did.
Which makes sense because he didn't even come in for till half the movie.
Yeah. But it really paid off. I felt like that it was a very convincing family.
Really helps with the family aesthetic. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, also, they were filming on location at this house that was, in the middle of nowhere. So, they didn't really have many options, but, so I guess that's what she came up with. I'm also aware that the studio changed the ending of the movie, and I would have preferred the original ending. Had it been the original ending, I might have had it a little bit higher. 9, Frozen. Amazing animation, original story, catchy songs. Could have easily been a traditional princess movie, but Disney made it so much more. Number 8, Star Trek Into Darkness. Probably a little high on my list, but just a personal satisfaction of the movie. My favorite blockbuster movie of the year, and that kind of bumps it up on the list.
I think we all probably have one or two. I mean, Joe had Star Trek, I had Oz.
Yeah. And I'm not a fan of the original Trek series or anything. I just really love the reboot that they had. The ensemble cast is amazing. They have great chemistry. And this one just picks up right where the first one left off. Number 7, Mud. Matthew McConaughey has broken away from his rom-com past and is making great acting choices. The child actors also give great performances, and the chemistry between them and Mud is 100% believable and just creates a great story between them. Number 6, Inside Llewyn Davis. Biggest Oscar snub of the year. Definitely deserves that 10th spot for Best Picture. I don't know what the Academy was thinking.
Thank you.
The soundtrack is amazing. The fact that they used one word or one phrase for
Please, Mr. Kennedy.
Please, Mr. Kennedy.
I think that's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's a great song.
It's such a great song. It's such a great bad song.
Exactly.
It's hard to purposely write a bad song.
Yeah. And to use one phrase from a song that no one knows about.
Yeah, from 40 years ago or whatever.
Oscar Isaac, you guys said it, delivers. Didn't know that he existed before this movie.
And he only did bad movies. W.E., Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
The man deserves better.
Oh, yeah, and he's finally gotten it, thankfully.
And the film just exemplifies the journey of a struggling artist, and his journey is, ironically, something that a folk singer could sing about. They could write a song about his journey of this movie. And I think that's what the Coen brothers were going for. 5, Her. Most original movie of the year. Gives a twist on the traditional love story. Scarlett Johansson carries the movie with just her voice and deserved award consideration. I don't care what the Golden Globes say. And the world that Spike Jonze creates is a believable, futuristic world that fully captivates the viewer. And I could see everything that he had in that movie actually happening in the near future. Unlike hoverboards or other futuristic movies that you're like,
Sorry,
no.
Next year, 2015, hoverboard.
Yep. Well, we're getting strap laces. So,
Yep.
That's one step in the right direction.
Make it happen, Zemeckis.
Yeah. Number 4, Gravity 3D. If it wasn't 3D, it might be a little bit lower, but it was a roller coaster ride, start to finish, and it's the best 3D movie ever.
And I think we sort of hit on that when we did our original list, because I also said I would have put it higher if it would only be encompassed ever in 3D. Yeah. But I feel like it's going to lose something on the TV screen.
There are already jokes going on about it.
Yeah. But it was filmed in a studio, and I really felt like they were in space.
Yeah.
Like, Avatar is a great 3D movie, but you take away the 3D, and it becomes an average movie.
And it's just a movie.
But I think you take away the 3D, and still, Gravity still holds its own. Mm-hmm. Maybe not number 4 of the year, but Alfonso Cuarón was able to invent techniques in filmmaking and push the boundaries and innovation to get his vision that he wanted for this movie on the screen. And Sandra Bullock had to perform like this ballet on wires in harnesses and stuff to make it feel like she was floating in zero gravity. And it's 100% convincible, believable. I just made up a word.
That was a good word, though.
Yeah. And it had me on the edge of my seat for the movie, so that is why it's so high on my list. Number 3, 12 Years a Slave. Super powerful film. Chiwetel Ejiofor gives an outstanding performance and could walk away with an Oscar for it. It's not a movie that I probably will see again. It's just one of those movies that, like, something that everybody should see, but it's not something that I'm going to put on my shelf and open up once a year. Number 2, Dallas Buyers Club. McConaughey, once again, but he delivers, but this movie he delivers even more. Ron Woodruff's character arc is truly amazing. It starts out as one of those characters that you don't care about, that you dislike, but he transforms into a person that you generally are rooting for and you're emotionally connected to, and that is something that all the movies on my bottom list that didn't have those characters, like, they didn't have that transformation. And
it's kind of your thing, isn't it?
Well,
characters.
I agree. Yeah. I think it's very important.
That is important. That's like the thing.
And Jared Leto is almost guaranteed an Oscar. Truly amazing. If he doesn't win, I would be surprised. And number 1, you probably all know this, Short Term 12. Brie Larson gives an outstanding performance and carries the movie. An emotional journey for multiple characters. It balances the moments of humor and the moments of heart-wrenching sorrow with ease, and makes a movie that will make you laugh and smile one moment and then be on the verge of tears the next. Yet it doesn't feel jarring or disjointed in doing so. And sadly overlooked during the award season.
Yeah, that is a shame.
Completely.
Great movie. So, quite a few on all 4 of our lists there. So, good choices all around, I would say.
I would agree.
All right, well, let's move in now to the Oscar picks. We're going to talk about the big 8 nominees. These are the ones that we all here on the show look at for our Oscar A to Z nominee feature in our weekly podcast, and that is Best Picture. All 4 of the acting nominations, both of the screenplay, the adapted and the original, and Best Director. And we're going to talk about who we think should win at this Sunday's Oscars and who we think will win. And we're going to start with the screenplay categories. And the adapted screenplay nominees are Before Midnight, Captain Phillips, Philomena, 12 Years a Slave, and The Wolf of Wall Street. Joe, we're going to start with you. And who do you think should win for screenplay, and who do you think will win?
For adapted, I think that 12 Years a Slave is going to win, but I think that Wolf of Wall Street should win.
Okay, and why is that?
Well, 12 Years a Slave, I think, has this really great story that I think just speaks to this very human tale that I think everybody, as you guys said, it's a film that needs to see, and I think that's very based on the story. But personally, I thought Wolf of Wall Street just had a great narrative that could kind of suck you in, which is something that I think Scorsese works with a lot from the main character's perspective. It kind of reminded me a bit of Goodfellas. I think that that's something that a lot of people could really relate to going in for audiences.
Okay. And actually, since we're on screenplay, why don't we do original? The nominees there were American Hustle, Blue Jasmine, Dallas Buyers Club, Her, and Nebraska. Who do you think should win and will win?
I think that Her should win because I thought it was a fantastic story and it was very poignant, very original, very timely, and I think it pulled at all the right emotional strings. But I think that Nebraska is going to win.
Interesting.
I guess I just feel like it's something that the Academy would probably go for. It seems like it's a bit nostalgic. It kind of has this sort of rustic feel. I don't know.
Justin, what do you think for adapted first and then original?
All right, so for adapted, obviously, much like Joe, I think 12 Years a Slave will win, but I think the one that should win is, and you might call this to my bias, but I would leave it to Before Midnight. And I think that's largely because when the second one came out, Before Sunset, that also got nominated for Best Screenplay, so I think the apology letter rule is in effect for this one. I think it definitely had more concrete writing, and you really see how well the characters have evolved over time. For original screenplay, I think Her absolutely should win. I think it's a great original piece of work. Spike Jonze is really on the top of his game, and I really hope he scores this. But I think the one that will end up winning is Blue Jasmine. The Academy has a history of generally liking Woody Allen. I believe Midnight in Paris won Best Original Screenplay a while ago. Mm-hmm. And despite my criticisms of it, I still think it's a pretty well-written story, and I could see it taking it home.
You don't think, though, that all the recent controversy around Woody Allen with his inappropriate allegations resurfacing is going to affect anybody?
Truth be told, I almost forgot about that. I think it could impact it, but I also could see it going the sort of same way as when Roman Polanski came back with The Pianist. So
okay. Yeah, that's a fair comparison. You'll be surprised at this, I think, Justin. I echo you entirely on adapted. I think 12 Years a Slave will win. However, I think Before Midnight should win. I obviously am not as infatuated with it as you are, but I think that the screenplay categories is a really good opportunity for the Academy to reward some of the lesser-known films. Moonrise Kingdom is a good example of that. I thought that should have won also last year. I don't think Before Midnight will win. I do think, like you guys said, 12 Years a Slave is the home run there. But I do think Before Midnight actually probably deserves it. For original, I actually think Her will win because I think it's the only thing that it's going to win. I think the story is original enough that the Academy does want to reward it for something. I don't think it has a shot at Best Picture. And I think screenplay would be a nice way to reward it. I don't think as fondly of the movie as you guys do, so I think American Hustle is the one that should win out of these. Although Dallas Buyers Club, also great. Nebraska, also great. Tim?
Adapted, 12 Years a Slave will win. I think we're all
sounds good.
But I also think that it should win.
Okay, nice.
It's adapting a journal, basically, right?
That is true, yeah.
So I feel like there's more adapting that needs to be done to make it into a cohesive movie that flows well.
That's a good point.
So that's why I feel like it should win. Original should win is Her, and it has a good shot. I agree with Dan. I think the upset would be American Hustle. So it can win. I don't want to say it will win. It can win.
You guys are kind of reversed there.
The reason why I say it can win is just because I just know American Hustle is one of those front runners for Best Picture as well, with the buzz and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Personally, I don't think it would be in my top 3 movies for Best Picture, but just because the Academy really seems to really love it, I think it can win that.
So you think...
I think it should be Her, but okay. I could see American Hustle walking away with it. I'm hoping Her does get it, but you never know.
All right, well, let's go to the supporting actor and actress category. For supporting actor, it is Barkhad Abdi for Captain Phillips, Bradley Cooper for American Hustle, Michael Fassbender for 12 Years a Slave, Jonah Hill in The Wolf of Wall Street, and Jared Leto for Dallas Buyers Club. For supporting actress, Sally Hawkins from Blue Jasmine, Jennifer Lawrence of American Hustle, Lupita Nyong'o from 12 Years a Slave, Julia Roberts for August Osage County, and June Squibb from Nebraska. Justin, let's go to you first. Who do you think is going to win and should win in the supporting categories?
Well, hands down for Best Supporting Actor, Jared Leto. However, if I were to say somebody that could be the upset just to make things interesting, I would happily say Michael Fassbender. I thought he did an absolutely killer job as the...
Of course you would.
He's a talented man, what can I say? But this really does show off his talent. I thought he did a phenomenal job, but it's definitely going to go to Leto. Just no question. Best Supporting Actress, I think Lupita Nyong'o should win, but I could easily see it going to Jennifer Lawrence. Nothing wrong with that.
Which will make her the youngest person ever to have 2 Oscars. Tim, what do you think about the supporting?
I will echo Justin and say that Jared Leto will win. And he should win. Not to say anything about all these other nominated actors. They all deserve to be nominated. All of them are hands down great performances. Jared Leto's is just slightly better. And by slightly, by leaps and bounds better. So would I be upset if there was an upset? Slightly, but all those names deserve to be nominated. So it could go with an upset. I could see Barkhad Abdi going away with it just because he's that new fresh face and
that would certainly be interesting.
He came out of nowhere. Sometimes the Academy likes to do that, but Jared Leto should win and will win.
Okay, and how about for actress?
Actress, I don't know. It seems like it's going to be a 2-person race between Jennifer Lawrence and Lupita Nyong'o. I think they both really deserve it, but I really think that Jennifer Lawrence is going to win. She's that fresh face that everybody loves, and the Academy loves her. All of America loves her.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
I really think she's going to go back to back.
Okay. I actually have the same person for both should win and will win, and of course Jared Leto is the actor for supporting. I think, as you guys said, he deserves it and he will get it. For supporting actress, I also give it to Jennifer Lawrence for American Hustle. Again, I liked American Hustle a little more than the others here in the group, but for all the great performances in that movie, I think she is a standout. Lupita Nyong'o is great as well, but I have to say, Julia Roberts, I think, gives maybe the best performance of her career. Erin Brockovich was also very good, so it'd probably maybe be tied with that. But her performance in August Osage County is fantastic. I don't think she has a shot at getting another Oscar for this movie at least, but if there was another person other than Jennifer Lawrence I think should win, it's Julia Roberts. Joe?
Well, I'm pretty much going to echo you guys and say that for supporting actor, Jared Leto, I mean, he did a great job. If he wins, he'll probably win, and that's fine. But the person that I would actually like to see win would be Barkhad Abdi. I really liked his performance in Captain Phillips, and I thought, as Tim said earlier, I think it really basically carried the movie. I thought it was a great performance from a newcomer. It would be great to see him win. For actress, it was actually really hard. I also think that Jennifer Lawrence will win, but I'm going to agree with Dan. I think that Julia Roberts probably gave the best performance. I think she should win. Is she going to? Probably not, but I would like to see her win.
Yeah, I would as well. Good choices. All right, next let's go to directing, and the nominees for that are American Hustle's David O. Russell, that rhymed, Gravity's Alfonso Cuarón, Nebraska's Alexander Payne, 12 Years a Slave's Steve McQueen, and Martin Scorsese for The Wolf of Wall Street. And we're going to start with Tim.
Alfonso Cuarón deserves to win, and he will win for Gravity. I just think, just for the technical achievements that he was able to achieve in directing that movie, they will give it to him.
Okay. I'm actually going to echo you completely. I think he should win, and I think he will win. I think it's Gravity's best chance at a major award. Yeah. Everybody's talking that it's maybe one of the main 3 that's going to take home Best Picture. I think it's an outside possibility, but I don't think it's a strong possibility. I think they're going to show their love to Gravity in the directing department. Justin?
Much like you gentlemen, I'm fairly confident Alfonso Cuarón will win. However, I really would love to say that Steve McQueen should win because I think he's just such a great new visionary director. I'm glad that he got nominated for 12 Years a Slave.
Joe, what do you think?
For who will win, I'm going to say Alfonso Cuarón for Gravity. I think that that's probably one of the better areas of the film, and I could see the Academy going for it. But I actually think that 12 Years a Slave should win. I thought the directing in that was fantastic, and honestly, I thought it was slightly better.
Okay. And you guys, brought up an interesting point. It used to be sort of a foregone conclusion that if you win Best Director, you get the Best Picture. For years and years and years. And then the last couple of years, that has not been the case. The Academy seems to want to spread the love around a little more, which I think is awesome.
It's a good idea.
Showcase even more movies that way. But
well, last year I think Affleck would have won.
Yeah, had he been nominated. Although I think if he were nominated, Argo may not have won Best Picture. I think part of the reason... I mean, I gave Argo an A+. I loved it. I think part of the reason it won is maybe because there was such an uprising about him not being director. All right, well, next let's go to the actor and actress category. And for actor in a leading role, the nominees are Christian Bale for American Hustle, Bruce Dern for Nebraska, Leo DiCaprio, The Wolf of Wall Street, Chiwetel Ejiofor for 12 Years a Slave, and Matthew McConaughey for Dallas Buyers Club. For actress, Amy Adams for American Hustle, Blue Jasmine's Cate Blanchett, Gravity's Sandra Bullock, Judi Dench of Philomena, and Meryl Streep from August Osage County. I'll go first on this one. I think that the winner for actor is going to be Matthew McConaughey for Dallas Buyers Club. Possibly the hardest one I had to deal with, because I think all of these actors are good. As we've talked about on this show and some of our past shows, it's just a year for the actors. Michael B. Jordan would have been up in a different year. Tom Hanks, Robert Redford would have been up in different years. Oscar Isaac maybe even. But of this lot, I don't think Christian Bale really has a chance. Bruce Dern, maybe sentimental favorite. Leonardo DiCaprio, not for this movie, but I could see them giving him one, as Justin likes to call it, the apology rule, because he's probably
been due.
He's probably should have gotten 3 Oscars by now. But I think it's really between Chiwetel Ejiofor and Matthew McConaughey. I think Chiwetel should win. I think McConaughey will win. For actress, I gotta say probably Cate Blanchett's going to win. I think she's the weakest in this performance, anyway, of all of these. I think Meryl Streep probably deserves to win it the most, because I thought her performance in August Osage County was literally just one of the best of her career. But because she's already got 3, I'm going to say Amy Adams should win, because she's been nominated several times, has never won, and I think she, along with Jennifer Lawrence, really, really is the reason American Hustle is so good. Tim, what do you think?
Matthew McConaughey will win, and I think he should win as well. Yes, it's a 2-person race between him and Chiwetel Ejiofor, but I think Matthew McConaughey deserves it, and I think he will win it. Actress, Cate Blanchett's going to win it. Should she win it? Probably not. I think Amy Adams should win as well. She's been nominated. This is her 5th nomination, and I think the fact that she was able to seamlessly go between English and American accent so flawlessly really, really deserves it.
And she's the only one in this category that does not already have an Oscar.
That is true.
Or multiple ones. Joe?
For actor, I think that we all kind of have the same idea about that. I think that Matthew McConaughey will win, and he definitely should win. Chiwetel did a great job. He's a close second, but Matthew McConaughey just really evolved, and I really still think he gave the best performance of his career. He went all out. He definitely deserves that. For actress, I actually didn't see Blue Jasmine like everybody else here, so I guess I don't really know what's going on with Cate Blanchett there. So I would think that Meryl Streep would win because she wins all the time, and she gave a great performance. It seems like the Academy loves her. They might give her that. But I also believe that Amy Adams really should win, honestly. I thought that her performance was easily the best thing about American Hustle. She was great, and she hasn't won anything yet, so if she won something, that would be fantastic.
And like Tim said, I mean, this is her 5th nomination. Obviously, the Academy loves her and wants to eventually reward her with something.
And if they were going to reward her for something, why not this role?
This would be the one. It's easily the performance of her career thus far. Justin?
For Best Actor, I think it's no question that Matthew McConaughey will win for Best Actor. But I really have to say I thought Chiwetel Ejiofor absolutely knocked it out of the park, and I have no issue with saying he should win for this. I thought he gave an incredibly charismatic performance. I thought it was unbelievably intense and charismatic. For Best Actress, much like you and Tim, Dan, Cate Blanchett will more than likely win for Blue Jasmine, but Amy Adams, I mean, it's about time.
It really is.
The actress has just really shown how far she's come. She was easily my favorite character in the film, and I would love to see her be upset for this one.
And it hit it home for me the second time I saw American Hustle. I mean, I loved it the first time, and I loved her in it, but the second time, it was actually after, Tim, I had talked to you about the accent and how she goes back and forth, and I really was able to notice just how often in that movie she switches on a dime perfectly. I think the actress is easily the best of the bunch of any category this year. All of these women probably do. I mean, Judi Dench was great in Philomena, one of her best performances for sure. Bullock obviously was great in Gravity. I think it's a hard one, but yeah, I think we're all kind of on the same page with that. And for McConaughey, I think part of the reason he's going to win is not only because he was so great in Dallas Buyers Club, but obviously everyone knows, in the industry or not, that he has had an amazing career resurgence in the last year and a half to 2 years. Mm-hmm. We reviewed Bernie on the most recent show. He was great in that. And then Mud, of course. He's in The Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, people are rooting for him. Whereas, Justin, you and I say Chiwetel probably should win, which I stand by. However, he doesn't have the quote-unquote story that Matthew McConaughey has. And I think that's why we're all sort of in agreement on that.
The fact that he lost all the weight for the movie.
Yeah.
That also gives him, the extra effort. I think the character arc is a little bit better for Matthew McConaughey as well. Because you start off not liking the character.
Yeah.
And someone that you're rooting for at the end, where, Chiwetel, he's playing a character that you're 100% behind right in the beginning.
That's true.
Maybe easier to play that character slightly.
All right, well, the only one left to talk about is the biggie, and that's Best Movie or Motion Picture of the Year. And there are 9 nominees, as Tim mentioned when we were talking about Inside Llewyn Davis. There are 10 possibles, and I think we're all in agreement that Inside Llewyn Davis or possibly August Osage County should have filled that 10th slot. But the 9 nominees that did happen are American Hustle, Captain Phillips, Dallas Buyers Club, Gravity, Her, Nebraska, Philomena, 12 Years a Slave, and The Wolf of Wall Street. For the first time in a while, no real outsiders. No Winter's Bone, no Amour. These are all movies that have been nominated for many things this year. Joe, let's start with you. Who do you think should and will win?
I think that 12 Years a Slave will win and should win. I thought it was a fantastic film. It was done incredibly well in virtually every aspect. Brilliant story, great acting, cinematography, editing, music, directing. It was just a great film overall. I think it's the whole package. Yes, it might be a difficult film to watch, but I think it's absolutely an outstanding movie that everyone should watch, and it definitely should win.
Okay. Justin?
I think 12 Years a Slave should win. I thought it was a phenomenal movie. But in terms of just hearing about the buzz it's been getting, and in terms of hearing from a number of different people that they're pushing for it, I think Gravity more than likely will end up winning it.
Tim, what do you think?
I think there's a 3-picture race between 12 Years a Slave, American Hustle, and Gravity. That's all the industry buzz.
Yeah.
Those are the top 3 front runners. But no one really knows which one's going to win. I think 12 Years a Slave should win out of all these. But I'm going to agree with Justin that Gravity will win. Just because pushing the envelope of technology and filmmaking techniques, that always gets a little bit of extra push. Also the fact that they also like movies that make a lot of money. They usually tend to get a little push as well. And that was the best October movie ever.
Yeah, that's true.
So and I just feel like 12 Years a Slave, Like, it's a great movie, but I think a lot of people are like, don't want to watch it.
Yep.
Just because they know that it's a powerful movie and they feel like it's just like, do I have to watch another movie about slavery? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like the voters, like, if they had a list of, like, a stack of DVDs, that'd probably be the last choice that they would pick. But American Hustle's that wild card that I don't know why it's getting all the buzz to be that third picture. Like, I don't see it as that third picture, but all Hollywood does.
There it is,
for some
yeah.
reason.
You do bring up a good point, though, because that would really explain back in 2011 why The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo was so well received, and yet it didn't get a Best Picture nomination.
Because sometimes people just don't want to watch those movies. Just like those movies that are like uncomfortable to watch.
That's
Well,
that's
that was
a
sort of
pity.
the controversy with Brokeback Mountain, too, when Crash won.
That's a good point. I didn't think of it that way, but that's a very good point.
Interesting factor.
I'm going to go with 12 Years a Slave in the should win category. It's the only film of 2013 that all four of us had in our top 5. The only one that even came close was we all had Dallas Buyers Club in our top 10. I don't think that has a shot at Best Picture. So I would say 12 Years a Slave probably should win. I think American Hustle will win. I put 12 Years a Slave higher than American Hustle on my list as well. I'm not quite exactly sure, Tim, why Hollywood is so in love with it. I mean, I loved it, but obviously it was very divisive. I know a lot of people that didn't like it. I don't know if it's because it's sort of quote-unquote old Hollywood just from the look of it or whatever, but I think American Hustle will win for Best Picture this year.
And it did win at the Golden Globes for Best Comedy.
For Best Comedy.
Yes.
Not the most hilarious movie I saw all year, but what are you going to do?
I think all 5 nominations for Best Comedy weren't comedies.
Yeah, none of them were. I mean, rare is it that they really have an out-and-out comedy. I mean, I remember The Hangover was nominated the one year. Bridesmaids was nominated. That's about all I can think of. Usually it's The Tourist and Burlesque.
Well,
funniest movies of the year.
Well,
What a slap in the face.
Burlesque
Comedy / musical.
But it follows the musical. Tourist isn't even funny or musical whatsoever.
No.
At least
or dramatic or thrilling or well acted.
At least all 5 nominations did have humorous moments.
That is true, yeah. That's true. All right, well, I guess we'll find out here in a few days. The Oscars air on ABC March 2nd, starting at 7 o'clock Eastern. I guess that's probably the red carpet stuff, and then the actual awards start either 8 or 8:30 usually, hosted by Ellen DeGeneres. Tim, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, long-time listener, first-time guest.
That's awesome. We'll definitely have you back on the show. For Justin, Jill, and myself, we'll be back in just a few days with reviews of not Oscar-worthy films.
Sadly.
Not to tip my hand, but at least speaking for myself. But anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye!